Hi, I'm Rob McLaughlin. Today I'm going to talk to you about internal controls. Internal controls are policies or plans implemented to protect a firm's assets. These controls are typically implemented by managers or other key personnel, and internal controls provide assurance to effectiveness and efficiency of operations. So there's five internal control components, and it spells a mnemonic that spells crime. The first is control environment, and this is basically the principles and beliefs of the organization and how the managers lead their employees and how they assign the roles and authority to these employees. The second is risk assessment, and they identify the organizational risks that are going on in the company and they analyze the potential of the risks and they basically do a cost benefit analysis to see whether or not it's worth it to uh, minimize this risk. The third component is control activities, and these are basically the policies and procedures of the organization. And the fourth is information and communication, and this is being able to inform their employees of their roles and responsibilities and stressing the importance of good working relationships. The fifth one is monitoring, and this is basically the evaluation of the internal controls and being able to initiate action when necessary to correct these issues. So the objective of internal controls is to have high or strategic, high-level goals and missions. Operations are day-to-day efficiency and performance and profitability, and then reporting. So this is reporting the internal and external problems that are going on. And then fourth is compliance. So you basically have to make sure that you are meeting these laws and regulations. With internal controls, there's event identification, so that's being able to identify the threats and analyzing the risks. Risk response, which is implementing a cost-effective countermeasure to these risks, and also additional considerations. And then another important key part of internal controls is risk tolerance and benefit trade-offs. Um, Another key component is safeguard assets. So, for example, having to swipe in a card to get into a door is a physical control. And also checking the accuracy and reliability of data. A lot of companies will have calculators that verify these totals. Another key component is promoting the operational efficiency, and this is like tolerance monitors, minimizing the defects of a product. And then finally, enforcing the prescribed managerial policies. So, say a manager wants to order products for the company, they would have to go through like a confirmation and then click yes, and then another one would pop up and be like, "Are you sure you really want to buy this?" And they'd have to click yes again. So some examples of control activities would be a good audit trail. And an audit trail is basically like following the path of data of transactions that go on in the organization. And this goes from the initial source documents to final disposition of data. And then the purpose of the audit trail is to verify accuracy of the recorded transactions and detect any errors or irregularities in the data. Another good example would be separation of duties. You don't want one person doing everything because that tends to bring up fraud in companies. Um, Accountants actually are the highest like fraud when it comes to being in an organization, and also it maintains the custody of assets, so that way like one person's in check of another person, and that way not one person's just ruining everything. Another control activity is the physical protection of assets. So, like inventory controls, taking inventory and getting receiving reports and cash disbursements. So that way you can verify that this actually did happen. Another important part of internal controls is the sound personnel policies and practices. So this would be like having training programs that prepare employees to perform their functions very efficiently, and also making sure that supervisors are supervising employees working on a daily basis to make sure they're not doing anything that's unethical. And also, it's making sure that employees are taking the vacations that they're due. Another important part of internal controls is identifying suspicious behavior. A lot of the times that fraud or something goes on is someone sees something and they just sweep it under the rug and they don't report it to the people that are above them. So identifying this helps protect the fraudulent employees' actions, and also the highest percentage of fraud, like I said, was in the accounting department. So finally, there's three types of security. There's physical security, there's logical security, and then there's integrated security. Physical security is, like I said, shredding documents, having cameras outside to monitor anything that could go on and inside, and having alarm systems in case anyone tries to breach it. Logical security is having each employee have their own unique ID and password, installing firewalls into your computer systems and antiviruses, and also having encryptions. Integrating is combining both of these to get the best of both worlds, and it's supported by the comprehensive security policy. I hope you learned a lot about internal control systems. Thank you for your time.